On Christmas Eve 1971, a 17-year-old German girl named Juliane was wearing a white party dress. Not because she was dramatic, because she had just graduated from school the day before. The dress was a Christmas present from her mother. She was still wearing it because the airline had lost their luggage, which was inconvenient. But not the kind of inconvenience you can do much about when you are sitting next to your mother on a plane flying over the Amazon rainforest in Peru on Christmas Eve, heading to spend the holidays with her father at a remote research station in the jungle. She was wearing the dress, her small white heeled sandals, her glasses. She was 17 years old. She was probably thinking about Christmas, about seeing her father, about the fact that the airline had lost her luggage, which was annoying but manageable, and definitely not worth worrying about at 30,000 feet. At approximately 12:06 p.m., LANSA Flight 508 flew directly into a severe thunderstorm over the Amazon basin. The turbulence was immediate and violent. Oxygen masks dropped. Bags fell from overhead compartments. The plane began shaking in the way that planes shake when the basic agreement between the aircraft and the sky has broken down completely. Then lightning struck the fuel tank in the right wing. The wing exploded. The plane broke apart at 30,000 feet, and Juliane, still strapped to her seat, still wearing her white party dress, still wearing her small white heeled sandals, still wearing her glasses, fell 2 miles straight down into the Amazon rainforest, alone. Now here is the question this story actually asks, not whether Juliane survived. You already know she survived. The question is what a 17-year-old girl in a white party dress knew about the Amazon that 91 other people on that plane did not. And whether, if it was you falling, you would have known it too. Welcome to Untold Archive, the channel that finds the stories of warriors, survivors, and underdogs who faced impossible situations and extracts every lesson they left behind. Today, Juliane, the only survivor of a plane that broke apart at 30,000 feet, who then spent 11 days alone in the Amazon rainforest and walked out in a party dress with one sandal. And knowledge nobody had thought to give her because nobody had thought she would ever need it. Let's go. Number 1, the girl who grew up in the jungle. To understand how Juliane survived, you first need to understand who she was before the plane fell apart. Juliane was not a trained survival expert. She was simply a girl who grew up differently. Her parents were German scientists. Her father, Hans Wilhelm Koch, was a zoologist and ornithologist. Her mother, Maria Koch, was also a respected scientist. When Juliane was 14, the family moved to a remote research station called Panguana, deep in the Peruvian Amazon. There were no neighbors, no shopping malls, no normal teenage life. There was only the jungle. For 3 years, Juliane learned how to live there. Her father taught her a simple rule. Follow the water. Small streams lead to bigger streams. Bigger streams lead to rivers. Rivers lead to people. He taught her which plants were dangerous, how to move through thick vegetation, and how to understand the jungle around her. She didn't know it then, but those lessons would one day save her life. Because knowledge, unlike luggage, cannot be lost. Number 2, the fall. On Christmas Eve 1971, LANSA Flight 508 was flying through a storm over Peru. Lightning struck the aircraft. The wing exploded. The plane broke apart at 30,000 feet. Juliane, still strapped to her seat, fell toward the Amazon rainforest. Normally, a fall from that height is impossible to survive, but the rainforest canopy acted like a giant cushion. Layers of branches and vegetation slowed her descent. The seat also worked like a crude parachute. Against every law of probability, she survived. She woke up on the forest floor. She was 17 years old. She had a broken collarbone, cuts all over her body, one sandal, and a white party dress. Most importantly, she still had her glasses, and she still had her knowledge. Number 3, the first decision. Most people would have stayed where they landed, wait for rescue, hope someone would come. Juliane knew better. The jungle canopy was too dense. Search teams would never see her. If she stayed, she would die. So after resting for a day, she stood up. Then she did exactly what her father had taught her. She searched for water. She found a small stream and began walking downstream. She walked inside the stream because it was easier than fighting through the thick jungle. Her father's words echoed in her mind. Follow the water. She followed it because she believed it would eventually lead to people. Number 4. The midpoint beat the maggots. After several days, she noticed movement inside a wound on her arm. Maggots. Every instinct told her to remove them, but she remembered something her father once said. Maggots can actually keep a wound clean by eating dead tissue and preventing infection, so she left them. It was horrifying, but it was also the correct decision. Later, doctors confirmed that despite spending 11 days in the jungle, her wound was surprisingly clean. Knowledge had beaten instinct once again. Number 5. 11 days. Day after day, Juliane kept moving. She had almost no food. She drank from streams. She slept alone in one of the most dangerous ecosystems on Earth. She talked to herself to stay focused. She counted her steps. She refused to stop. Eventually, the stream became a river. That meant people had to be somewhere downstream. On the 11th day, she found a small boat in an empty camp. There she poured gasoline into her wound to force the maggots out. Then she waited. The next day, 3 lumber workers returned to the camp. They found a teenage girl in a torn white dress, covered in wounds, sitting quietly in their shelter. They took her to safety. Out of the 92 people aboard Flight 508, Juliane Cope was the only survivor. This story is not really about a plane crash. It is about preparation. It is about arriving at a crisis already equipped to survive it. Number 6. What Juliane teaches us. Lesson 1. Your environment is your education. Everything around you is teaching you something. Pay attention. Lesson 2. Follow the water. In every difficult situation, there is a direction that leads toward help. Keep moving toward it. Lesson 3. Leave the maggots. Not everything that looks wrong actually is wrong. Learn the difference. Lesson 4. Move before you feel ready. Waiting often makes things worse. Sometimes survival means taking the first step. Lesson 5. Build your survival kit now. Skills, knowledge, and experience are things no disaster can take away from you. Build them before you need them. On Christmas Eve 1971, a 17-year-old girl fell from a disintegrating airplane into the Amazon rainforest. She had one sandal, a broken collarbone, a wound full of maggots, and 11 days of jungle ahead of her. But she also had 3 years of knowledge. She followed the water, she kept moving, and she walked out of the jungle alive. Later, Juliane returned to the Amazon and became a scientist herself, because the jungle had not defeated her, it had prepared her. And when the crisis came, everything she needed was already inside her.